Previous video we had covered up till this point that Simon reached Bombay. Simon reached Bombay on 3rd of February 1928. Now we had to confirm if this date was 3rd of February or 3rd of January. But the year was 1928. This commission was formed in 1927, but they arrived in Bombay the next year, that is in 1928 beginning. Now you just have to confirm the month. Now Simon belonged to the Liberal Party, and but at this time the Prime Minister was Baldwin from a Conservative party, and Indians were excluded from this commission on the suggestions of Irwin, and the commission recommended replacement of diarchy with responsible government in provinces and a federal form of government. It is also known as Indian Statutory Commission. So I'm going to tell this line once again. The commission recommended replacement of diarchy. If in couple of points you can say what were the objectives of the Simon. The replacement of diarchy with responsible government in the provinces and a federal form of government. So these were the two main kind of propositions put forward by the Simon Commission. Replacement of diarchy with the responsible government in the provinces and a federal form of government. Now Simon Commission is also known as Indian Statutory Commission, and then next we are going to start from here today. So the Nehru report prepared in response to Simon Commission and challenged the Secretary of State Birkenhead. So he was Secretary of State for India. His name was Birkenhead, and the Nehru report actually prepared in response to the Simon Commission demanded a dominion status for India. So Nehru report prepared in response to Simon Commission and challenge of Birkenhead demanded a dominion state for India. Now surprisingly, this report talked about dominion status for India. Motilal was the chairman of all parties conference, while Jawaharlal was the secretary. However, first to demand dominion status was Tej Bahadur Sapru and Jaikar, and this is one of the questions that could be asked. Tej Bahadur Sapru and Jaikar, these were the first people to demand the dominion status. As regards to the communal problem, Nehru report recommended joint electorates with reservation of seats for minorities, which was a reversal of the Lucknow Pact. So you can see how Congress actually switched their sides. In the Lucknow Pact, they agreed with Muslim League on the point of separate electorates in order to demand dominion status for the country. Now, by the time Nehru report was prepared, Nehru report recommended joint electorates with reservation of seats for minorities, which was a reversal of the Lucknow Pact. The fundamental rights to give his freedom of speech from and form organizations and meetings. So the Nehru report also comprised of certain fundamental rights like freedom of speech and freedom to form organization and meetings. Now Jinnah did not accept the Nehru report and proposed his 14-point program in 1929 as a response to the Nehru report. So this 14-point program in 1929, this was done by Jinnah as a response to the Nehru report, and it was released by Jinnah in 1929. Then in February 1928, Delhi, all parties conference was presided by M.A. Ansari. All parties conference was presided by M.A. Ansari. Now there are a lot of facts that you can pick from this paragraph. First is that the Nehru report was a result of the challenge that was given by Birkenhead, and the challenge was basically that he wanted to see if Congress could actually make a constitution for India, and the other thing that you should remember from Nehru report is that it demanded for a dominion status, which was not very much acceptable to in its entirety to all the leaders of the Congress, and Motilal was the chairman of all parties conference. Now you might get confused here that the difference between the word chairman and here we have presided, because Motilal was the chairman, but here we come to know that in February 1928 all parties conference was presided by M.A. Ansari. So it could be a case that this is probably one of the subsequent sessions of the all parties conference, which was presided by M.A. Ansari in 1928, but the original one was chaired by Motilal Nehru, with Jawaharlal Nehru as the secretary. That could be one of the inferences that you could draw from here. However, the first to demand dominion status was Tej Bahadur Sapru alongside Jaikar. As regards to the communal problem, Nehru report recommended joint electorate with reservation of seats for minorities, and which was a reversal of the Lucknow Pact. The fundamental rights were also spoken about in the Nehru report, and the rights were basically regarding freedom of speech and freedom to form organizations and meetings. Now Jinnah did not accept, and as a result brought forward his 14-point program, and in 1928 February, all parties conference was presided by M.A. Ansari. So that is all you should remember from this paragraph. Moving on, Ahmedabad 1921 session. Now this is another one of the lesser known sessions because we know that it occurred in Nagpur in 1920 and it occurred in Gaya in 1922. So the year in between these two sessions is the one that occurred at Ahmedabad, and it was chaired by Hasrat Mohani. And Hasrat Mohani proposed that the Swaraj should be complete independence, free from all foreign control, and should be considered as goal of the Congress. Now he totally redefined the meaning of Swaraj here, completely redefined the meaning of Swaraj, that it means complete independence, free from all foreign control, and should be considered as the goal of the Congress. This session was supposed to be presided by C.R. Das, but as he was jailed, Hakim Ajmal presided. Again, this fact is very important. So the 1921 Ahmedabad session was presided by Hakim Ajmal. Actually, it was meant to be presided by C.R. Das, but since he was jailed, it was presided by Hakim. And this was the session of 1921 Ahmedabad which actually defined the meaning of Swaraj. For the first time, Hazrat Mohani propounded or proposed that Swaraj should mean complete independence and free from all foreign control. Now, I'm not saying that Hazrat Mohani presided the 1921 session of Ahmedabad. I'm just in this session what happened. Hazrat Mohani proposed that the Swaraj should be complete independence. However, the one who presided this session was Hakim Ajmal, and also the fact that C.R. Das was meant to preside the 1921 session of Ahmedabad, but since he was jailed, Hakim Ajmal had to preside. Moving on, Gandhi sent his 11-point ultimatum to Irwin on 31st of January 1930. This date is important, before which in 1929 Lahore session Jawaharlal on 31st of December 1929 hoisted Indian flag on the banks of Ravi at Lahore. Just remember this date. And later Congress decided 26th January to be celebrated as complete independence. So the decision to celebrate 26th January as complete Independence Day was emanated from the session that occurred in Lahore in 1929 on 31st of December 1929. So this is another fact that could be asked, that on which date 26th of January to be celebrated as Independence Day was decided. So it was the 29th INC session of 31st of December when Jawaharlal hoisted Indian flag on the banks of Ravi at Lahore. The Lahore resolution concluded that there was no benefit from the Roundtable Conference dominion status. Also, the Nehru report was rejected here, and an independent foreign policy for India was envisaged. So this could be another question, like in which INC session the Nehru report was rejected. So it was again the Lahore session of 1929. Now, Dandi March. Now this is a part of the CDM 1930, and actually this is also related to the 11-point ultimatum to Irwin by Gandhi on 31st of January 30. Now Gandhi with 78 supporters on March 12, 1930 walked 240 miles from Sabarmati to Dandi. He reached there on 6th of April 1930. Again, this date is important. So he started on March 12th and he reached on 6th of April, that is approximately 24 days, and violated the SALT law. This march was compared to movement initiated by Napoleon from Alaba to Paris. And in Tamil Nadu, Vedaranayam March under C. Rajagopalachari was an offshoot of the CDM from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranyam in Tanjore district. So the Vedaranyam March under C. Rajagopalachari from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranyam in the Tanjore district was an offshoot of the CDM or the Dandi March. Now this CDM saw the largest scale participation by women, with leaders like Kasturba Gandhi and raid on the Dharasna salt works by Sarojini Naidu, Wadala salt works raid by Kamala Devi, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. So there were a couple of raids which are related to CDM. The first is the Dharasna salt raids by Sarojini Naidu, and the second one is Wadala salt raids, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur and Kamala Devi. Now Gandhi quoted during the CDM, "I want world's sympathy in this battle of right against the might." So another question could be asked, like, who said that and in context of what movement? So "I want world's sympathy in this battle of right against might" was said by Gandhi during the civil disobedience movement, right? Now exactly 1 year from the start of Dandi March, not exactly before the Dandi March, because Dandi March started on 12th of March 1930 and they reached They reached Dandi on 6th of April 1930. It's 240 miles away from Sabarmati. So that entire incident took place in March of 1930. Now, exactly 1 year or approximate 1 year from the start of Dandi March, 1 year ahead, 5th of March 1931, Gandhi Irwin Pact was signed. After Gandhi's arrest for the CDM, Salt Satyagrah, it was Abbas Tayyabji who continued the movement. Okay, while Gandhiji was in jail, women leaders raided the Rasna salt works, which we've already studied. So Abbas Tayyabji का क्या योगदान था वो भी हमने देख लिया. And Gandhi Irwin Pact was signed on 5th of March 1931. And Gandhi sent his ultimatum to Irwin on 31st of January 1930, 11-point ultimatum. And that is when Irwin did not reply to these demands, and which culminated in Dandi March and the CDM after a couple of months in March 9, right? So yes, one thing that I'm forgetful about is that when Nehru report was rejected, so it was rejected in the 1929 Lahore, right? Moving on, call for Pathan regionalist unity and a struggle against colonialism. The Muslims of the NWFP played important role in CDM, but other Muslims were cold on Salt Satyagrah and CDM. So this is another fact. And one thing also needs to be understood, that Pathan regional nationalist unity is somewhat related to the NWFP region. You don't have this things in detail about this organization. Just remember that it is somewhat related to NWFP, so somewhat related to Khan Abul Ghaffar Khan of the NWFP. Now, talking of Muslims of NWFP, they played an important role in the CDM, but other Muslims were cold. They gave a cold response in Salt Satyagrah as well. Another incident in Peshawar, where under the leadership of Chandra Singh Garwali, the soldiers of Garwal regime refused to fire on unarmed crowds at Peshawar. Now this is not very important, but remember that under the leadership of Chandra Singh Garwali, the soldiers of Garwal refused to fire on unarmed crowds at Peshawar. That's all you should. And this entire fact, Chandra Singh Garwali fact, related to the another offshoot of CDM anti-Chaukidar tax in Begussarai. Another one was Jiatrang movement, where Manipur tribals were led by Naga leader Rani Gaidanliu. Now, there is another one, Jadonang movement. I don't know how similar that is with Jiatrang movement, or maybe Jadonang or Jiatrang movements are one and the same. They just have different. These things have to be confirmed with Google. Other women leaders in Bihar during CDM were many Devis. So there were. This is the suffix that you would commonly find after the name of several women, like dash dash Devi, dash dash Devi. So these were the women who were involved. Okay, moving on. 1932, Gandhi, just before retiring from active politics, founded All India Anti-Untouchability League. Now, All India Anti-Untouchability League was founded by Gandhi, whose first president was Ghanshyam Das. Right. Then he resigned from Congress in 1934 and published. Ghanshyam Das was the first president of All India Anti, that was found by Gandhi in 1932. Now, 5th of March 1931, Gandhi Irwin Pact, and 23rd of March 1931 was the execution of Bhagat and Rajguru, and 26th of March 1931 was Karachi session, where resolutions of national economic policy and fundamental rights were passed. These were drafted by M.N. Roy and Jawaharlal Nehru. Also, the 1931 Karachi session was regarded as the point of pinnacle of Gandhi's by Subhash Chandra Bose. December 1931, the second roundtable conference occurred, in short GKS. Now that indicates the chronology. So G stands for Gandhi Irwin Pact, which was, I think, 5th of March. Then execution of Bhagat and Rajguru, so that is E for execution. K stands for Karachi session, and then S stands for the second roundtable. So you can remember that in order to keep track of the chronology of 1931 event. But anyways, I remember it. 5th of March, it was the Gandhi Irwin Pact. 23rd of March, it was the execution of Bhagat and Rajguru. And then the third one was the 26th of March, 1931 Karachi, where resolutions of NEP and fundamental rights were passed, drafted by M.N. Roy and Jawaharlal Nehru. Also, the 1931 Karachi session was regarded as the point of pinnacle of Gandhi's prestige by Subhash Chandra Bose. So, Gandhi's prestige के बारे में बताया था कि वो point of pinnacle तक पहुंच चुके हैं 1931 Karachi session में, right? So that was done by Subhash Chandra Bose. Then December 1931 was second roundtable conference. In short, G. Then we have 12th of November 1930. That was the first roundtable conference, and that's like entirely 1 year before the second roundtable conference. So the 12th of November 1930 was, or you can just remember the month. November 1930 was first roundtable conference. So Sapru Srinivas Sastri, Aga Khan, Fazlul Haq Jinnah, Homi Mo, Jaikar Munj, Ambedkar. Indian Christians were represented by K.T. Paul. This is more important. And yes, and this is one of the lesser known names. Homi Modi, he was also there. Fazlul Haq was also there. Aga Khan was also there. Sapru was there. Srinivas Shastri, Jaikar, Munje is also an important name, and Sundar. So these were some of the people that were that went to first roundtable conference. Although the results of the first roundtable conference carry no significance, still these participants need to be remembered. Now, the second roundtable conference occurred between September to December 1931, and you must remember these four names. Samji. This is Sarojini Naidu, Annie Besant, Triple M, and Gandhi. किंग्सली हॉल में हुआ था एंड एसएस राजपुताना शिप से ये लोग गए थे September to December 1931. Samji. Now the second roundtable conference, in which Dalit leader Ambedkar demanded separate electorates for depressed classes, which were refused by Gandhi. Later, the conference was dismissed in December 1931 due to dispute on communal delegation. So second roundtable conference में Dalit leader Ambedkar थे and he demanded separate electorates for depressed classes, which was refused by Gandhi. Now, 1932. When he was jailed, Gandhi was jailed. Ramsay MacDonald declared his communal award on 16th of August 1932. Till now, Muslims and Sikh were considered minorities. Now Dalits were also sought to be declared as minority. In addition to this, Christians, Sikh, Anglo-Indians were also granted separate electorates. So that happened as per the Ramsay MacDonald's communal award. Applicable to only provincial legislative assembly. This is the most important statement. This applicable only to the provincial legislative. Consequently, Gandhi started fast unto death to protect against communal award in September 1930. In same month, Irwin Pact was signed to override the communal award. 18% of the general seats of the Central Legislative Assembly were reserved for the depressed class. This document was signed between the followers of Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar. Followers of Gandhi. Gandhi did not sign on the document himself. Rajagopalachari changed his pen with Ambedkar after signing the pact. So yes, that is all you should remember. And